I want to thank Martin for inviting me to be part of this great gathering. It is a great honour. If my Donegal mother was alive today, she would say, "Oh, Jesus, it's far from Jungian psychology you were reared, David." But anyway, here I am. 50 years ago, I went to work at the Withymead Centre in Devon with Dr. Irene Champernon. I had the great good fortune to meet Peter Lyle, who's here tonight. Peter was our wonderful potter, and he helped me to understand some of the mysteries of this amazing therapeutic community. But the most important thing that happened to me was to have the great good fortune to have analysis with Richard's mother, Doris Layard. And that changed my life forever. Yes, I think I've lost track of where I was going to go from here. I think John has to be found somewhere, doesn't he? And after my analysis with Doris, I came back from Withymead to work in, I went to university and I worked in Manchester and various places. And finally, I came across John Layard in Falmouth in Cornwall. To my astonishment, I was down there on holiday, and I heard my nephew talking about, he said, this amazing man has come to Falmouth called Laird. And these young people were sitting on the floor, the university student. And I said, well, hang on, lads, do you mean Layard? Because it sounded like John. And they said, oh yeah, yes, it's Layard. So I rang John, and he said, as he would, come round at once. So, you know what that's like, Richard. So I went round, and there he was, not in very good nick, because he'd been hoping to form a little therapeutic community in Falmouth with some patient students from the College of Art and others. And it was clear to him by then that this wasn't going to work. He didn't have the strength or he wasn't going to be able to do that. So we hired a Red Cross nurse, and I took John back to London, where Richard received him and took him away into the night. Thereafter, I became a kind of peripatetic companion to John, and that was also life-changing after having worked with Doris, because John we exchanged dreams, gossip. He told me about his disaffection with Jung. He said, of course, you know, David, I'm the only person who's committed suicide and survived. And I said, really? He said, yes. So he told me the whole Auden story. Anyway, and then he, of course, the last years of his life were very painful. I met James Hillman at John's bedside in the hospital in Oxford when he was towards the end. And then came the day when John died. I was feeling very, very low and lonely in Highbury that night. And I went down the hill to the Bank of Friendship, my local pub, and I withdrew a litre of cider from the bank. And I took it home and I put it on my desk and I sat there. And finally I started writing. Well, I drank a litre of cider, I staggered off to bed. In the morning, when I came back to my desk, I found a poem about John. How amazing. So there it was, a sonnet for John Layard. I thought, well, this is not at all bad, this sonnet, even though I'm not a poet, but anyway. So I sent it off to Zurich to James Hillman. And to my amazement, Hillman wrote back and said, "Dear David, your good poem about John arrived just in the nick of time for publication, and it's going to be in this wonderful spring journal." Yeah? So it was published there. And so I'm now going to read it to you. I have to say that when some years later, if I can find it, it's in here, definitely in here somewhere. No, I'd rather read it from the book if I may. It's page 67, but I can't see very well. There we go, yes. Anyway, a very good friend of mine who's here tonight, but I won't name him because, to his eternal shame, he said, "David, that isn't really a sonnet at all. It's got far too many lines." And of course it has got 4 lines too many. Well, John would have forgiven me for this iambic generosity. And here it is my sonnet for John Layard. Had I done nothing else but be a man to whom John Layard told a dream or two, and in the telling made not much ado about the archetypal Peter Pan in him and me, I still would count me blessed. Had I done nothing else but hold his hand when he was ravaging to death, I'd stand so tall that tempests would be put to rest. And all archaic contents of my mind could not combine to call my frightened bluff. His searching love was never of the stuff of dreams that seek to sanctify mankind. His Saviour was inside his noble head, and in his feet of clay, his epitaph was manifest the day that dawned him dead. Have I now nothing but his photograph to stand beside my own unconscious bed? This pompous rhyme gives him the last loud laugh. Thank you very much.